It was on this farm that the famous Northfield, Minnesota raid was planned. Everybody knows the famous Northfield raid, right?
If not, you're about to hear it.
Right.
Jesse, Frank, 3 younger brothers, Clell Miller, Charlie Pitts, and an outlaw from Minnesota named Bill Chadwell, all headed north.
Right.
Chadwell had told Jesse about how easy it was to rob in his home state, and Jesse loved the idea of robbing a northern bank. He's like, gotta stick it to these northerners even more. Well, they stopped at Mankato on the way, but Jesse was recognized and they left.
Damn.
Well, split up in pairs, they headed northeast 50 miles to Northfield, eventually meeting on the outskirts of town on September 6th, 1876. They cased the bank and planned to rob it the next morning.
Right.
Well, fast forward to the next morning.
Well, September 7th, 1876, with 3 men entering the bank, 2 guarding the doors, and 3 remaining near a bridge across the square. The robbery was set to take place. Well, when the cashier, Joseph Lee Haywood, was ordered to open the safe, he falsely claimed that it had been time locked.
Oh, those pesky time locks. Ask the Daltons. They know all about those time lock claims.
So they pistol whipped his ass right in the forehead and split it open.
Sure did.
Held a Bowie knife to his throat.
He still refused.
Another cashier, Alonzo Enos Bunker. Damn, that's a hell of a name.
Yeah.
Alonzo Enos Bunker tried to escape.
Enos.
Right. Tried to escape out the back door and was shot in the shoulder.
Well, at least he was only shot in the shoulder.
Right. By this time, the townspeople were suspicious of the 2 men guarding the door.
Hey! What's those 2 men doing guarding the door of the bank?
I'm very suspicious of you. And they started to make their way over to that very bank
sure did.
to ask these people, why
are you standing outside the door of this bank?
All 5 gang members.
Did I mention we're at a bank?
Right. All 5 gang members outside fired shots in the air to clear the streets like, don't you come any closer. Patoo, 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 patoo.
Pew, pew.
I got people inside doing business.
Right.
The townspeople took cover and started to fire back at the outlaws.
Oh, shit.
They're like, what business, patoo, patoo, do you have?
Right. Charlie Pitts and Bill Chadwell were killed by the returning fire, and Cole, Jim, and Bob Younger were wounded but managed to escape.
Right.
But were captured a week later east of Mankato.
Oh, you idiots.
Well, as Jesse and Frank went to flee the bank, Jesse shot Haywood in the back of the head, killing him.
Oh.
In addition to Haywood, another man named Nicholas Gustafson was also killed by the gang. Jesse and Frank escaped back to Missouri while the younger brothers all got life in prison.
Damn right they did.
Well, with members dead or in prison, the James Younger gang is no more.
It was officially over.
Gone.
They're like, we can't do this anymore, guys.
Considering.
What do you mean?
Well, 3 of our members are in prison. The rest are dead.
Right.
And by the way, none of the ones still standing are named Younger. So
right. Well, a few months later, Jesse and Frank showed up in Nashville, Tennessee, going by the names Thomas Howard and B.J. Woodson.
Did you say a few minutes later?
A few months. Frank settled it down, but Jesse still wanted more. He's like, I can't stop, Frankie. And Frank's like, Jesse, you gotta calm down.
He's like, I need that rush.
I can't do it. It's so boring.
Frank slaps him like, snap out of it, you junkie.
You junkie.
You crime junkie.
Go to the saloon and play some damn cards, right? Because I'm sure he was good at cards.
Try not to kill nobody,
He
would
won
you?
Money, right? After recruiting new gang members, they continued the robberies.
That worked out well.
They're like, I'm just going to get more gang members, and we're going to continue the robbery.
Frank's like, there's absolutely no way we continue. And Jesse's like, what if we just get new gang members? He's like, you're right.
Over the next couple of years, they held up a stagecoach in Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. They robbed a bank in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Okay.
And they robbed a train in Winston, Missouri. In 1879, they robbed 2 stores in western Missouri. They took $2,000 in cash in the second one, though. Taking shelter in an abandoned plantation south of St. Joseph, Louisiana, a law enforcement posse tracked them down and killed 2 of the outlaws, while the others, including Jesse, has escaped.
Man, these motherfucking law enforcement are good.
Right.
Tracking these motherfuckers down in the
sloppy.
in the bayou.
Sounds like they're really sloppy. They just didn't get
where.
Right. They're driving.
By this time,
around.
obviously Jesse James's face is plastered everywhere.
Everywhere, and they didn't care. They're on the move constantly, so they know we're ahead of these motherfuckers, right?
By 1881, with the authorities in Tennessee growing suspicious, Jesse and Frank returned to Missouri where they felt safer.
Right.
Jesse moved his family to St. Joseph, renting a house on 1318 Lafayette Street, which is still standing to this day. And unfortunately, for Jesse James, it's going to suck for him. With $10,000 on his head, his wife begged him to give up crime. Jesse agreed, but only after one last. I just got to get that one last score, babe.
Got to do it one more time.
Well, he was hoping to get enough money to become a what? You guessed it, a farmer.
Everybody wanted to be a farmer.
Everybody wanted to be a farmer. Everybody wants money. Everybody's got a price. Everybody's going to pay. Money, 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 money.
Right. Well, Jesse was planning a robbery at a bank in Platte County, Missouri, with Bob and Charles Ford.
Oh, shit. Yes, you guys just heard that first name.
Bob.
Robert.
Ford. Chuck. Robert and Chuck.
Robert and Chucky.
Robert and Charles Ford. Charles had been on rage with Jesse before, but Bob, he was new. Jesse asked the two brothers to move in with him while they planned the robbery. Little did he know that Bob was secretly negotiating Missouri Governor Thomas Crittenden. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
And the two were planning for Bob to bring down Jesse. What an idiot.
Should have been a loner, Jesse.
Right. The governor already put up a $5,000 bounty on each gang member's head, as well as a $5,000 extra if there was a conviction.
Okay.
So you got 10 grand.
Right.
You got 10 grand. Well, Bob had killed a man and was promised a full pardon if he captured Jesse. And he also wanted to be the bounty money.
He wanted to be the bounty money. He was like, you guys can pay whoever with me. I will be the transaction.
I'll be the prize. Here you go. But he also wanted the bounty money.
You can exchange me for services.
The bounty honey. He also wanted the bounty money.
He sure did.
Yes,
on April 5th, 1882, after eating breakfast, they went over the plans for the robbery one more time before heading out. Well, Jesse noticed that a pitcher was crooked and stood on a chair to straighten it out. Just then, he heard the sound of a pistol being cocked before Bob Ford pulled the trigger and shot Jesse in the back of the head, right below his right ear. Jesse toppled to the floor and died on the spot at the age of 34.
Over with.
His children heard the gunshot and were the first to run over to him. Damn. His wife then ran into the room and tried to stop the bleeding. Bob Ford was long gone by now, and his brother Charles tried to tell Jesse's wife that the gun went off on accident.
Oh, no.
Before he, too, took off.
Well, Jesse James' body was packed on ice and taken to his hometown, where he was displayed for hundreds of people to come and view him.
This motherfucker got a state capitol viewing.
And he got a George Floyd funeral. He was buried.
I don't think he got a gold casket, though.
Right. He was buried on the family farm so the family could keep an eye on him and keep an eye out for trespassers and souvenir hunters as well.
Mm-hmm.
His tombstone read, and I quote, "In loving memory of my beloved son. Murdered by a traitor and a coward whose name is not worthy to appear here."
Mm-hmm.